My baby is not going to come out of my butt.
We've talked about the Elvis channel. They find people that did not have a relationship with Elvis, but that might have had some kind of, like, they saw him walking by them on the sidewalk one day. And then they do
exciting.
And then they do a 15-minute story on. Well, tell your story. Oh God, tell your story. Please tell your story. And then the story is no story. Well, actually, Elvis was on Steve Allen before he was on Ed Sullivan.
That's the kind of content on the Elvis channel?
And Elvis was very curious to know if people were still digging him and his music back in the States.
That sounds terrible.
It was horrendous. I'm like, what am I listening to?
It should be called Anything Elvis.
Right.
Remotely Elvis.
You got some Elvis chatting going on right now?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear.
He says in the book, Scotty Moore, we're talking with DJ Fontana. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis' original drummer. And he just walked in the door and announced it. Great to see, D. But Scotty says in the book,
original drummer.
Colonel Parker went behind their backs and was trying to get Hank's noseband to back him on the road.
He was.
Back Elvis.
He was. He shut down everything. We were driving out of California, me, Scotty, and Bill. We had the yellow Cadillac then. The
one we had in Canada. The yellow Cadillac
thing,
limousine, yeah.
And so this guy pulled us over, and he told me who you were. And I said, yeah, that's pull over here at this restaurant. I want to talk to you. So he said, I'll tell you what I'll do, guys. I'll give everybody a brand new Lincoln. He was going to give us Lincolns.
What?
Wow.
And he said, well, Elvis has got to be involved in this thing.
Yeah.
Well, the Colonel shot that down, too.
Goddamn Colonel piece of shit.
No.
He wouldn't allow everyone to get a Lincoln?
No. Yeah, he's going to give Elvis one.
Yeah, just Elvis.
Oh, man.
And he said, no, I want everybody.
Why wouldn't the Colonel do it?
Well, you know the Colonel.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. He
didn't elaborate. Well, you know the Colonel. Why didn't the Colonel do it? You know the Colonel. Any more?
Yeah.
I gotta have a little more.
You remember Cliff? You know, Cliff was a young Colonel Parker. Yes. He was a good con artist, too.
He was good.
And Cliff, we're in New Orleans, and Elvis is making King Creole. And you guys have already gone back because y'all have already cut the soundtrack and everything. And so this guy, we're on the set in New Orleans, down in the French Quarters, and this guy walks up and he's got on a beautiful sport coat. He's an extra in the picture. And Cliff zeroes in on him.
Oh, boy.
Hey, man, I like that coat. Man. Where'd you get that coat? Well, my daddy owns a clothing store in downtown New Orleans. And Cliff said, oh, he does? And Cliff said, I'll tell you what, I'm with Elvis, GK's with Elvis, Alan Fortas is with Elvis, Lamar, all these guys with Elvis. And we like them coats, man. And he said, Cliff said, we got to work a deal here. You guys work a deal? What do you mean? Cliff was going to work on that. And so he went to work.
I am fascinated by this.
I am too.
You have to listen to the Elvis channel. These stories go nowhere, and they're from people that have not barely a connection to Elvis.
It sounds like these guys were all trying to get free shit,
right?
Because they were peripherally involved with Elvis.
Because they're hanging with the king.
That's what that story was. I got to tell you about the one time I tried to get a free coat by using Elvis's name.
I'm trying to get Lincoln Continentals. I'm fucking
Elvis isn't even in these stories.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They ran out of stories years ago. We got to at least get to the end of the coat story.
Just a little.
Okay, all right, let's do this.
He said, look, he said, now he really had a good con. He said, we could easily go down and buy those coats. We make a lot of money with Elvis. We could buy them coats. You know, all of Elvis's guys, the mafia guys, we could wear them coats around New Orleans and Memphis and Hollywood. So we got them from your daddy down in New Orleans. But that wouldn't be cool having to pay for them. Here's what I'd like to do. And the guy said, what would you like to do? He said, well, you come up to the hotel. We're at the Roosevelt Hotel. He said, GK, what size coat you wear? I said, 38 regular. He said, Alan, what's that? And the guy was writing down all the sizes. Everybody wrote. Cliff said, okay, now here's what we're going to do. And when we get through shooting today on this King Creole movie, you go on down and tell your daddy, here's what the deal is. You give us the coats, and then we're going to let you advertise the fact that Elvis's guys wears these coats from your daddy's clothing store. And we're going to save your daddy a lot of money on advertising because he gets those clothing wholesale. We know the deal on clothing, 100% markup. I said, yeah, you're right, Mr. Cleves. He said, well, okay, you be at the hotel. And DJ, I promise you. And also show how good Cliff was a con artist. He said, and you be sure and get Colonel Parker one. He wears about a 46 or something. Yeah. So the guy shows up at the Roosevelt Hotel, DJ, and he's got all his sport coats. And the Blazers were just coming in. Yeah. There's a beautiful Blazer.
What is this? It's exhausting. The most inane fucking drivel.
There's too much detail.
There's no reason to tell this story.
I have to hear how this ends, though.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
I have to hear the ending.
I can't get over this.
What happened with these coats?
This is what happens on the Elvis show.
Yes.
And he's not even losing confidence in the story.
No, he is all in.
He's not going halfway through and realizing, this isn't leading anywhere.
I better wrap it up.
This is the coat story.
Were they staying at the Roosevelt Hotel, or was he lying about that just to get him somewhere away, like not where Elvis was?
I don't know.
But what does this have to do with Elvis?
I'd love to hear from the bellman from the Roosevelt Hotel.
I would
no problem. No, they're trying to find him now.
Elvis hit 7.
What about this coat thing?
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Really pretty, you know. So my Blazer fit and Alan's fit. We had on our Blazers, man. We was walking around the hotel with them on. And so the next day, Cliff says, now, I got to tell you what, I talked to the assistant director. He's going to use you again tomorrow. You know, they were looking for extras, you know. Yeah. So Cliff was cool. So the guy shows up, and he's got Colonel Parker's jacket. So we got on all of our blue Blazers. They look really good, you know. So Cliff says, see that guy over there? That's Colonel Parker. He said, yeah, I've seen him in pictures of him in magazines. He said, here's what you do. You walk over and you said, Colonel Thomas A. Parker. He had his full name. You said, Colonel Thomas A. Parker, in behalf of the people of New Orleans and my daddy's clothing store, I'd like to give him one of these beautiful Blazers as a gift. And so we were watching, you know. We stood off and watched. He went over and said, Colonel Parker. You know how Colonel, what do you want, man? You know how Colonel was. Colonel, and he went and made the speech. He said, Colonel Parker, on behalf of my father, who owns such and such clothing store down in New Orleans, we'd like to give you this sport coat as a gift from the people of New Orleans. Colonel Parker, what's the deal here? He said, oh, no, Colonel, there's no deal. I gave some of Elvis's guys these coats. I'm going to give you one. And Colonel, he started smiling, and he put the coat in his hand, and he walked over and said, come here, Cliff. He said, I know you had something to do with this. He zeroed on Cliff. And so Cliff said, well, look, Colonel, he had a great answer. He said, look, we all gathered around, had our coats on.
Pause.
And
the problem is these stories, maybe for an Elvis fan, would be fun to listen to, I guess, but if it was a minute quick story, and they get into Hound Dog for the 8 millionth time.
They don't go anywhere. This isn't.
The guy loves himself.
Like I don't even know how he would end this story.
I'll tell you how you know it's bad, because he starts laughing before he gets to the. That's the
right.
cue.
Yeah.
And he goes, I know you're into this, Cliff. Well, yeah.
I
don't expect the punchline. Don't expect the big out. I haven't heard the end of this story, but I've heard enough stories on the Elvis Channel to know that this is just going to peter out.
Let me guess how it's going to end. The Colonel walks over and he goes, you guys just get some free coats, didn't you? Yeah, you know Cliff.
Elvis.
yeah.
All right, let's go.
Told him, here's coat. I don't know about you guys taking them coats for this guy. He may have something up his sleeve. And Cliff said, look, Colonel, if we bought those coats, he was going to buy commercials and say, Elvis guys wear these coats. Why don't we just get them free, man? Yeah. And the Colonel said, that's a good idea, Cliff.
Cliff was slick.
That was it.
Cliff was slick.
That was the
punchline.
He's like, yeah, we get them coats. Wow, I'm stunned.
That's a bad story.
That's what's going on.
There's a million of those.
It's a bad
story.
There's
a million of those.